evening, dear viewers of Rock TV. Welcome to this edition of the news. Today we begin right from Chang, where a brief but heavy downpour left Mache Bay submerged in water and debris, bringing trade to standstill. This situation has underscored the market's ongoing drainage and sanitation problem. FG Cynthia tells us in the following report.
Commercial activities at Mache Bay were severely disrupted after a brief rainfall left large sections of the market flooded with water mixed with garbage, causing distress among vendors and customers. The incident occurred in the town of Chang West region of Cameroon, where traders saw themselves after a brief rainfall in pools of stagnant water, making movement difficult and creating an unpleasant environment for business. Several vendors expressed frustration over the situation, noting that a short rainfall now leads to flooding in the market.
Mache Bay est plein de la poubelle parce qu'il n'y a pas d'activité. Lui, on fait gaffe au Mache Bay.
According to some traders, the problem is largely due to poor drainage systems and the accumulation of garbage around the market area. Residents and market users are urging municipal authorities to improve waste management and drainage infrastructure in order to prevent similar incidents in the future, especially as the rainy season approaches.
Ça ne plaît pas à personne. Ça ne plaît à personne que le capital de la commune vient porter tout. Mais vous c'est comme ça on va vendre quoi? Il n'y a rien à vendre. Le lendemain on va venir prendre l'argent. On paye l'emplacement, on fait tout. Alors qu'on n'y a même pas d'entretien.
The flooding at Mache Bay once again highlights the growing challenges of urban sanitation and infrastructure in many local markets across the West region.
In another news, from March 26, 2026, the United Kingdom will temporarily suspend the acceptance of new student visas application from Cameroonian nationals. This was clarified by the British High Commission in Yaoundé and expected to last 18 months. FG Cynthia with the details.
The British High Commission in Yaoundé has provided further clarification regarding the temporary suspension of student visas for Cameroonian nationals. The measure, recently announced by authorities in London, will apply for an initial period of 18 months. According to the diplomatic mission, the suspension concerns only student visas. Cameroonian applicants who already possess a confirmation of acceptance for students are still allowed to submit their visa applications until March 26th. After that date, any new student visa applications will be automatically refused and no refunds will be granted. British authorities also stressed that no scholarship programs are exempted from these restrictions. However, Cameroonian students who are already studying in the United Kingdom will not be affected by the measure. The High Commission further indicated that other visa routes remain open to Cameroonian nationals, particularly visas for short visits, tourism or employment opportunities in the United Kingdom. In its statement, the diplomatic mission emphasized that the decision is not politically motivated and does not undermine the quality of bilateral relations between United Kingdom and Cameroon. Officials say the move is purely related to migration movement. According to British authorities, more than one-third of Cameroonian nationals who entered the UK on student visas in the past 2 years later applied for asylum, a trend that promoted London to introduce this temporary restriction.
Turning to our next story, the International Crisis Group ICG has warned that Cameroon's Anglophone crisis could deteriorate further if fresh diplomatic initiatives are not pursued to address the conflicts in the Northwest and the Southwest region. Buka Sharon reports.
In a recent report, the International Crisis Group ICG enlisted Cameroon among 7 key peace and security priorities for Africa in 2026 alongside Sudan, tensions between Burundi and Rwanda, and situations in Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, and South Africa. The report indicates that the European Union could leverage its political dialogue and development cooperation with Cameroon to push for a political settlement to the crisis. It also suggested that European officials could privately signal the possibility of targeted sanctions, including travel bans against individuals accused of authorizing violence against peaceful demonstrators. ICG further recommended that President Paul Biya reopen negotiations with Anglophone separatists while urging the United Nations and its Secretary General Antonio Guterres to support renewed dialogue. The report also proposed that Canada could facilitate another round of talks between the government and separatist groups. The organization, however, acknowledged that the influence of external actors remains limited and that resolving the conflict would largely depend on decisions taken by Cameroon's leadership. According to media sources, the recommendations came amid concerns that the crisis could worsen if diplomatic engagement is not strengthened.
Meanwhile, in another development, the Australian company Canyon Resources has begun mobilizing resources for the Mini Martha bauxite project in Cameroon's Adamawa's region in a move that could transform the country's mining industry and boost exports. More details in the following report. Cameroon is moving forward with a major mining projects that could boost the country's economy. The Australian mining company Canyon Resources has begun mobilizing equipment for the Mini Martha bauxite project located in the Adamawa region of Cameroon. Bauxite, which is the raw material used to produce aluminium, which is widely used in industries such as construction, transportation, and manufacturing. According to the company, the equipment is being prepared to begin early mining operations and site development in the area. The project is expected to produce millions of tons of bauxite each year once full production begins. Officials say the development of Mini Martha mines could create jobs for local communities and increase Cameroon's export earnings. The government also believes the project will help strengthen the country's mining sector and attract more international investors. Once extracted, the bauxite will be transported by rail to the port before being exported to global markets. Experts say the project could become one of the largest bauxite mining operations in the region if production moves forward as planned. Authorities say work will continue in the coming months as preparations advance towards full mining operations. And now in sports, Kumba City FC lost 1-0 at home to Avion Academy on Wednesday, ending the unbeaten run in MTN Elite 2. Sivian Boma scored the only goal as the promotion race heats up. Claudine Lingwe tells us more.
In the MTN Elite 2 Championship, Kumba City FC have suffered their first defeat of the season after losing 1-0 at home to Avion Academy on Wednesday 2026. The match was played at the GPS field where the newly promoted side struggled to maintain their unbeaten run, and the only goal of the game came in the 44 minutes when Avion Academy's Sylvain Mboma found the back of the net just before halftime, giving the victors a crucial advantage. Kumba City started the campaign strongly, remaining unbeaten in the first 5 league matches. However, the narrow loss and the impressive run induced a setback to the Southwest club. In the early rounds of the MTN Elite 2, teams like Avion Academy, FAP FC, Avges FC, and Union Douala are all active as the battle for promotion begins, making the league highly competitive. Despite the defeat, Kumba City FC showed determination throughout the match and have demonstrated promising form since the start of the season. With many games still to play, the Southwest side will be hoping to quickly bounce back and continue their push in the league.
On a different note, Cameroon's MTN Elite 1 is heating up. Unisport FC leads with 16 points, followed by PWD Bamenda and Gazelle FA. Recent wins and draws plus Unisport's 3-0 loss to AS Fortuna leave the top 6 clubs separated by just a few points in a tight title race. Claudine Lingwe has the details.
The MTN Elite One Championship is becoming more exciting as several clubs continue to fight for the top position after their opening rounds of matches. UNESPOR FC de Bafang currently sit on the lead with 16 points. Meanwhile, PWD of Bamenda follows closely with 15 points, while Gazil FA of Garwa sit in the third position with 14 points. At the same time, Dinamo de Douala, Cotton Sport de Garwa and Victoria United are also in strong contention with 13 points each. In recent matches, PWD of Bamenda defeated Cotton Sport 2-1, while Victoria United played a 2-2 draw with Gazil FA. Elsewhere, Pante Junde beat Kanong Yaounde 2-1. However, UNESPOR suffered a heavy 3 defeat to AS Fortuna, meanwhile Colombe du Sud and Stade Renard de Melon shared the points after a 0-0 draw. Overall, with only a few points separating the top 16, the MTN Elite One title race remains very tight and highly competitive as the season continues.
Still on sports, 23-year-old midfielder Ryan Fosso is now eligible to play for Cameroon after completing his switch of sporting nationality. Echo Suzanne has the inside story.
Cameroon's national football team is set to gain a new reinforcement in midfield as 23-year-old Ryan Fosso chooses to represent the indomitable Lions. Ryan Fosso, who was born in Switzerland, has finalized his change of sporting nationality, making him officially eligible to play for Cameroon's national team. The talented midfielder currently plays for SK Sturm Graz, a side that is presently leading the Austrian Bundesliga. Fosso's decision is being viewed as an important boost for Cameroon as the national team looks to strengthen its midfield options ahead of upcoming competitions. Known for his technical ability and composure on the ball, the young midfielder is expected to bring a new dynamic and additional quality to the indomitable Lions midfield. His integration into the squad could happen sooner rather than later, as his name is being mentioned ahead of the next international gathering scheduled for March. This move reflects Cameroon's strategy of attracting young players with experience in European football, either be to reinforce the team's competitiveness. Meanwhile, with Fosso now eligible to wear the green, red and yellow of Cameroon, fans will be watching closely to see when the midfielder could make his first appearance for the indomitable Lions.
Continuing with more news, Iran has officially announced its withdrawal from the 2026 FIFA World Cup, citing rising geopolitical tensions and security concerns linked to the ongoing conflict with the United States, one of the tournament's co-hosts. The decision, confirmed by the Iranian Minister of Sport, could force FIFA to reorganize the competition groups ahead of the historic 48-team tournament scheduled from June 11th to July 19, 2026. FG Cynthia on this report.
The news has flooded the internet. Iran is withdrawing from the 2026 FIFA World Cup. This decision, made public on March 10th, was confirmed by the Iranian sports minister Ahmad Doniamali. The reason for this withdrawal is the tense geopolitical context, ongoing conflicts, and security concerns. This withdrawal follows measured tensions between Iran and the United States, one of the co-host countries of this edition. The conflict in question includes strikes on Iranian territory, making their participation impossible. Regarding the impact on the competition, the International Football Federation will have to reorganize the groups, particularly Group D, which includes Iran, China, Belgium, and Mexico. This adjustment comes at a crucial moment, especially as this will be the first World Cup featuring 48 nations, and the competitions scheduled, already established, must not face any disruption. As a replacement of Iran, Iraq could benefit from this withdrawal according to the initial analysis. As a reminder, the 2026 FIFA World Cup will take place from June 11th to July 19th and will be co-hosted by the United States, Mexico, and Canada.
Up next, the government of Nigeria has begun evacuating its citizens from Iran as the conflict involving the United States, Israel, and Iran intensifies. Buka Sharon has more on this.
The government of Nigeria has begun evacuating its citizens from Iran as the conflict involving the US, Israel, and Iran intensifies. The evacuation was confirmed by Abike Dabiri, chairperson of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, who stated that Nigerians willing to leave Iran are being escorted by officials of the Nigerian embassy to safety through the Armenian border. According to her, Nigerian officials are stationed at the border to receive the nationals, adding that no Nigerian casualty has been recorded since the outbreak of the conflict. The evacuation comes as the war between the United States, Israel, and Iran enters its second week, leaving over 1,300 people dead in Iran and more than 12,000 others injured, according to figures from the Iranian Ministry of Health. Authorities in Israel have also reported casualties from Iranian retaliatory attacks, while the conflict spreads tensions across the region, including in Lebanon, where hundreds of people have reportedly been killed and thousands displaced. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, President of the US, said the war could end very soon, although Iranian authorities insist that the outcome of the conflict would be determined by Iran. Iranian Foreign Ministry also stated that discussions on a ceasefire would not be possible while military attacks by the US and Israel continues.
The Brazilian government has announced that South Africans will no longer need a visa for stays up to 90 days in Brazil from March 26. A move aimed at strengthening travels, businesses, and diplomatic ties between the two countries. Let's listen to the following report for more details.
Travel just got easier for South Africans as Brazil is opening its doors for tourism, business, and cultural exchange. Starting March 26, citizens of South Africa can enter Brazil for up to 90 days without applying for a visa. The Brazilian government made this announcement after diplomatic talks aimed at boosting trade, tourism, and closer ties between the two countries.
So for us as South Africans, it's like coming home. Being in Brazil is our second home, and we are truly delighted with the manner in which we have been received here. So thank you very much, my dear comrade and friend. Thank you, Muito obrigado.
Officials say the new rule will make it easier for South Africans to attend business meetings, conferences, or simply explore Brazil's famous cities and landmarks. Brazil hopes this decision will strengthen economic and cultural connections and encourage more South Africans to travel. Travelers are advised to check their passports and travel requirements before departure to ensure a smooth journey.
Dear viewers of Rock TV, and that wraps this edition of the English News today. For our French-speaking viewers, the French edition begins now with Mbialu Anaik.